I done had big wins from baby steps. Impatience in the past, be like, damn, we ain't made it yet. Making these moments last is probably my greatest flex. I'm sweeping the competition to clean up my latest mess. What it do? It's your boy DNA Picasso, and we are here at Welcome to It Studios for another episode of Have You Heard This? Today we got a very special guest in the building. Make some noise for Graffiti. What's up, bro? What's happening, bro? Man, appreciate you for being here. Yeah. Shit was random. Like, Brody just walked in the studio, man, and now we here, bro.
Literally.
And we was just talking about we need to talk. Like yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm super hyped, bro. Super hyped to be chopping it up with you. We were just talking a second ago. Kind of want to just maybe go right into that conversation.
Absolutely.
About like the state of like the industry and content and all that stuff. And you know, I know you're in the content creation game and the podcasting game. You've been doing this for a while, right?
Man, for years on years on years.
How do you feel about like the landscape of everything right now and, you know, like where things are going?
Yeah, it's a tricky question because now everything is kind of multi-tiered. So like, I guess I'll start with podcasting since I've been doing that for so long. When I came into podcasting, like it wasn't even really podcasting. You know what I mean? It was just online radio. And to watch that evolve into what it is now, I feel like, just being 1,000% honest, I feel like podcasting has grown into a space where it's evolved out of just like the talking head thing, which is, you know, it sounds crazy as we're doing the talking head thing right now.
Yeah.
But I think the literal format of podcasting needs to be identified as that. So like, you know, like you look at the biggest categories in podcasting right now, it's news, it's sports, it's true crime, it's storytelling. And then these kind of interview-based sit-down one-on-ones are evolving into more of social shows or like your YouTube content. They're moving out of that podcast space. And I want to like get people to kind of identify the difference.
Yeah.
That not everything is a podcast in the literal sense of calling it a podcast.
Bro, please help people understand the difference between that, bro. Because I feel like every time somebody sits down and hops on a mic, they think it's a podcast.
Yeah. Especially now because it's so easy to do. You know, quote unquote, easy to do. You could just open your phone and start talking and be like, yo, I got a podcast.
Yeah.
And I think what that does is it muddies the waters for like actual podcasts and actual podcasters. And it makes it look a little shaky on the industry side for someone like me that has actually been podcasting and doing journalism and broadcasting for years. When I walk in a room, it's almost like podcast is a dirty word now. It's like, I'm a podcaster. It's
Don't
like,
say that. Don't say
everybody's a podcaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody got a mixtape. It feels like that right now. Whereas there's content creators and social creators that are killing the game that are not podcasters. And people don't seem to know the difference. So like the way I lay it out is if you can access this on a podcast platform, if you can open Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you know, any of those, and hear the audio RSS feed, that's a podcast. If what we're doing right now and we're just chopping it, you might catch this on YouTube or you might catch this on our social platforms. This is more of a social show. And I really want to push the line on that, man, for various reasons.
Understand the differences, my guys and gals. This is I think it's interesting, bro. We were just talking about like content creation and like the climate of that right now and how, you know, everybody has to become a content creator. Like no matter what you do, if you're trying to market yourself or your business or your art, you have to be a content creator. And for a lot of us, me included, like it could be cringy sometimes. Like you have to pull out your camera and speak to like this like imaginary crowd of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's something that like if you're serious about it, you like have to do it. And artists like La Russell and like Russ have like been doing it and talking about it for the longest time. And I know you were just talking about La Russell and how you know, people share around his podcast clips and his stuff all the time, but are people listening to his music?
Right.
Does it translate to the music? And he even addressed that in one of his podcasts where he was like, at this point, I want people to love me. I want people to know La Russell as a person. Like whether you're listening to my music or watching the pod or, you know, you out in the streets and I'm just spitting, kicking game to you, or, you know, I got someone got their phone out on me and I'm just walking down the street on my morning walks, just giving game. Like I want people to just appreciate the person that I am. Like, how do you feel about that in terms of like artists and like nowadays?
I love that we're doing this because that's funny. Like we stumbled into that conversation. This is how this happened. I've been wanting to talk to an artist about this. I look at it from this scope, man. Like, these are all just platforms. Instagram's a platform, you know, Facebook, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, they're all platforms to get your art out and deliver it to the people. So what we've been doing up until this point is we use social platforms to redirect people to long form content, where in all reality right now, we got short attention spans and we're not really, it's just too much consumption at once, man. Like, you might have the greatest podcast in the world and I'll watch all your clips, but it's very hard for me to want to go further than that and buy into like 3 hours worth of you talking. I might just want those quick little gems. Yeah. And so we have to look at the platforms we have to look at these short form content as the content. So like using LaRussell for an example, LaRussell doesn't need 1 million streams on Spotify, because we're going to watch this clip of LaRussell doing this same verse from this same song 17 different ways in this video, and we're consuming the content. That's the song right there. We just heard it. We seen it. That's the video. Like, we don't need to click over to YouTube to watch the rest. It's here. It's right here. There's a cat, I think his name is like Lord Visions or something like that. Forgive me if I'm getting it wrong, but he got this song called like a prayer you should need in 2025, or prayer you should hear in 2025. Yeah. Bro just rolls the window down and spits the verse with the captions. He's done that about like 80 times, and I just keep seeing it on my feed. I know that whole damn verse. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's just repetitive, and it's marketing, it's branding. It has a very clean look. I know when it's about to pop up on my feed. And that's not to say he's not looking to get that song heard or whatever, but that's the content. I'm consuming that. Boom. You know, IG skit makers and comedians, they will give you a 1 minute piece of content for you to just consume, not, hey, go watch this full movie afterwards. That's a whole different game.
I feel like those comedians were like the first ones to like hop on Vine and hop on these real short form like platforms and not care about the quality of it either. They just grab their phone and have someone hold it and do a skit real quick in the house. Right. From Drewski and like Ben the Don and all those folks who had their career, even Shiggy, like started that way. And I feel like they were kind of ahead of the game, low key. Yeah. I feel like the whole short form content thing is like a little tough though for artists. Like me, I love music videos. Yep. Like, I grew up loving like watching music videos. Like, I just remember just being on YouTube when I was in my crib, just watching every artist music video that I could even find. And nowadays, I feel like people might not watch music videos. Like, even if they're only 3 or 4 minutes, it doesn't have to be an hour-long podcast. People aren't even watching a 4-minute music video anymore. Right. You know, and my bad. You good. But yeah, people aren't even watching a 4-minute music video anymore. And I feel like that short form content is just like churning out clips for folks. And for me, it's tough because I feel like it takes away some of the integrity of the art, where I'm like, damn, I want to do this like cool stuff. I want to have cool effects and a cool set. And these people are going viral off of just pulling out their phones and having some captions on the screen. Yeah. Like, should I put in that much effort? Should I bring together all this money to pay for a music video that no one's going to watch?
Got you. And that's why I wanted to talk to an actual artist about that, because I'm speaking more from a media content creation aspect. But with music, it's interesting because me just being a music head, I'm a geek for music. So I'm the one that's going to actually watch the full video. I'm going to listen to Dissect podcasts for 4 hours to hear these bar break. Like, I'm that type of dude. But I also realize that we're in a whole different era and this stuff ain't going nowhere, bro. So like, if you do have the love and the passion for the art and creating the art, and you do it for the purity of doing it, keep doing that. But if you're looking at it from a marketing and branding and promotional and even a monetization side, that long video can be chopped into 1 million different pieces of content. Like, you don't have to necessarily just shoot short form. Yeah. But I'm saying it's not wrong to do either or. You know what I mean? I can't knock the people that do want to just be like, you know what? I got one song, and this song is fire to me, and y'all gonna hear this one song in 1 minute on TikTok, on Instagram.
Yep, every day too.
I can't knock you because it works. And then from a monetization standpoint, you about to start getting ad sponsored. Like, it works. You know what I mean?
As a consumer and someone who enjoys the music, have you ever ran into something where you seen your artist or your favorite artist post the same clip or the same verse and you get tired of it? You're like, all right, bro, make a new song. Go to the studio. Go shoot this video. Or,
you know what?
I don't know.
Yes and no, because yes, you can tell when somebody's reaching for that that viability, and like it just ain't connecting. And then know from an aspect of like you can tell the people that really like care about the craft enough to not do that. So like the majority of my favorite artists, with the exception of a few, they're not doing that. They just know like, yo, here's the full project. Go listen to it. This is it. You know what I mean? Rock with it if you rock with it. Like I listen to like a lot of like Sky Zoo and cats like that, and they just lyrical. They're just like, go get these bars, bro. Whoever finds it, finds it. That's underground rap to me. That's like, it's always been that way.
Yeah.
Versus like Toby is blowing up on just Instagram because of the look, the aesthetic, the vibe he has on Instagram. And his music happens to be very fire, and he still puts that same effort into the full length.
Yeah.
But it's a nice balance of both.
I feel like he's a little bit of an anomaly where he has like this phenomenal music, but he also has this look and he has the drive to be that content creator.
Yeah.
And consistently do that. And he's comfortable in front of the camera.
Yep.
He brings his wife into different things as well. And
that's the key,
like,
bro.
And like I really love that.
Let me chime in on that real quick?
Yeah.
Because that's key across the board. Like, if it feels uncomfortable, don't do it, because we could tell you're not comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
And I've personally landed in that space where it's like, all right, people see you as a voice or a content creator or a quote unquote influencer, and I fucking hate that word. And then you start to do influencer type stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect example. Right now, I have my sponsor on my head, Dad Gang. If I would have got on here and be like, hey guys, go, like that's mad corny to me. Like I'm just gonna throw on a cap and be comfortable, and like I'm an actual dad. Like y'all see me do dad shit.
Yeah.
And that's comfortable for me.
Yeah.
I've never like just grabbed the camera and like talked to the camera. I still don't even really like being on camera. I've always been a voice. Like I had to get comfortable with that. But I'm like, if I'm gonna be on camera, I'd rather do this. Like let's just have a real conversation. Let's chop it. Versus you'll see people be like, man, I gotta be a content creator because that's what the game is now. And it looks mad corny. And it's like, nah, bro, just go back to just rapping. Like, we like your raps.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of rappers turn like TikTok comedians. And,
and don't be funny.
They lost the plot. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got so far away from like the plot, it's not even funny. Like, they're not even integrating their music into the skits or none of that. They're viral, and they've seen these viral these viral moments, and now they're like feeding that beast versus like continuing to work on the craft and the art. And I think I don't know. I think it's interesting all around. I think the level of entry for art is so low, and so like everybody is like jumping into it because they can do it. They can go to Guitar Center, go get a studio real quick, go get podcasts and stuff real quick. You know, and just feel like, yep, I'm doing this. I have it. Now I deserve to go viral. And they don't understand sometimes it's work, and it's a lot of hours that goes into like perfecting the craft and building a brand and building trust in an audience and all that stuff too. So I don't know. I think it's interesting.
And it's also knowing your why, man. I'm heavy on that. Like people hit me and be like, yo, bro, I want to start a podcast. I'm like, okay, why? Yo, cause blah blah. And me and my homeboys be having conversations.
We be having
like,
shit to say.
All right, man. Well, you and your homeboys want to hear that from each other, but like, does the world really care?
Yeah.
Or like, what are you contributing to your culture? What are you like? What is the why for real? Because before a couple years back, people would literally be like, man, I'm trying to get paid. Podcasting makes money, and I'm like, it don't, bro. Stop lying to yourself. Like, it's just like any other craft. You put that in and you'll receive.
Yeah.
But it's not just I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make money. It's not true. Like even just literally like streaming for podcasts does not actually make money. Even though music like makes a fraction of a cent or however you want to break that down. That's a whole nother episode. Podcasting don't even have that. Like you literally gotta find other avenues to make money. So
you mentioned streaming. How do you feel about streaming?
Just in general?
Yeah, like or like, you know, the Kai Sanats and like Plaque Boy Max and like these people who are like,
I feel like those guys are killing the game in a positive way. I feel like they're getting the quote unquote podcaster the fuck up out of here, if I'm being like completely honest. Like they've made me rethink how I'm gonna reapproach coming back with my podcast. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because it's more natural. It feels natural. We just kicking it with Kai Sanat. He just being Kai Sanat on camera. Like, I don't even know like if his stream has a name. It's just Kai Sanat just be on stream. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he's this is two different things, but it goes together. He's a great example of something else that I push is when you find your audience and you know where they are, stay there. You know what I mean? And put your efforts into that platform. Like Kai Sanat is on Twitch, bro. He's on Twitch. You see Kai Cenat everywhere because people share him or like he is on Twitch faithfully. You know what I mean? So like I talk a lot, like as much as I really don't like Facebook, that's where my audience is. So like I gotta feed Facebook. And Facebook has a creator program where they give you money for that because they see you're dedicated on there. So if you're an artist and you're like, man, I'm getting 0 streams on Spotify, Apple ain't really giving me nothing, but my SoundCloud is popping. Then bro, focus on SoundCloud. Like that's where your tribe is at. You feel me? So from a streaming standpoint, like a content streaming standpoint, there's so many different outlets to reach your audience. You just got to know who your audience is. And I think personally, streamers kind of got it figured out, man, because one of the reasons I got burnt out on my show is, you know, you do these, I've been doing one-on-one interviews for years, and you sit down, you do the process of, you know, I book the guests, we do the interview, we edit, we do all the post-production, we put out the graphics, and hey, new episode, tune in. And then it goes back to the whole, all right, well, y'all just watch 30 seconds of that. So like, let me understand what from this only attracted y'all to that. Let me dial in on that. Whereas streaming, you could just turn the camera on and be like, yo, bro, I'm in here chilling. And we might find them 30-second gems within that stream, but you're naturally just getting your shit off. And I like that, bro.
And there's no editing required.
Yeah.
You could just, as soon as it's over, it'll live on your Twitch or whatever.
Y'all take the part y'all like.
And y'all chop up the clips and y'all post it up. I like that. So do you feel like you're wanting to kind of go into the streaming
1000%, bro.
realm?
When I do come back with the Connect, that's 1000%. I just want to have organic conversations like we're doing now, just with the people. For real. You know what I mean? I don't want, like how I literally walked in and you was like, bro, turn the mic on. Like I want that energy. That's fun. It's organic. It's naturally who I am. I fell into a space where I got burnt out with podcasting because there was just too many extra steps to get to the final product. And then the final product wasn't giving me really the return that I wanted.
And then you got to go right back into all them steps.
Yeah. And then you build yourself into a box, right? So like with the Connect, I intentionally started the first season and the first few episodes talking to politicians because I wanted to set the tone like, yo, this is something different. I'm not really on what I was with my previous podcast. Boom. But then you get built into this box of like, oh, you're a political journalist. You got to do these type of moves. So now when I do some ratchet shit, I look crazy because y'all like, oh no, graffiti's the... And it's like, nah, bro, I just want y'all to know who I am and my personality, where DNA could just pull up and we'll just chop it with y'all. So that's definitely what I'm on.
We could be goofy. We could talk shit. We could be political. But like, people can expect all of that kind of stuff too. Versus
and people buy into you. So that's the La Russell thing. That's the Kai Cenat thing. It's not the product that they care so much about. People just like Kai Cenat. You know, he's a funny dude. And it's like, all right, man, what's he doing today? Let's just see. It's like back in the sitcom days, man. Imagine if Martin just streamed. You know what I mean? Like if Martin was just at the house and it wasn't a sitcom and like Tommy just pulled up and was just talking to us. Like that's the era we're in now.
Imagine if some of these people like the Will Smiths and if Martin Lawrence like tapped into streaming now. And they did turn on Twitch.
And showed the real personality. Because again,
versus
man, like
acting the character that they have to play and you know, and people expect that out of you when they see you. They don't really know you for real. And
let me ask you that, man. Sorry to flip the interview, but this is a question I've been wanting to ask people, so we chopping it. Do you feel like the era of personality is starting to die? And what I mean by that, right, is kind of what you just said. Like, I think as a culture and just as a society, we've progressed into a point where we know when something is being force-fed or is kind of generic. And we don't want, like, celebrity anymore. You know what I mean? Like, social media kind of peeled the blind back. We want to see that real person. Like, we talk about Will Smith. Like, once he slapped Chris Rock, and then, like, we like, oh, damn, Will's kind of like a real motherfucker.
He a
like,
real nigga.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
He really
like,
put hands on people.
We know better now. Like, we know this ain't you for real. So, like, when we talk about the people trying to be influencers and all that, like, I kind of think that's dead, bro.
And you can tell when it's fake. I feel like it's dead, but also I also still kind of feel like it's not going anywhere. I think for me specifically as an artist, I just want to be able to be myself in any space that I'm in. I don't want to have to shapeshift for someone's podcast or shapeshift for a room or a board meeting that I'm in, or even for the studio when I'm in the studio. Like, I'm going to be myself, like, wherever I'm at, you know, across the board. But I think when it comes to personalities, I'm kind of tired of seeing certain celebrities' personalities. I wish they could go back to being mysterious.
Yeah.
Because I wish I didn't know what was in some of these people's heads.
Right.
And I didn't know what their personal life was like sometimes. And that's kind of I think it's like both sides. Like I like that we can have a closer look into what people are doing on a daily basis and what they're doing in their lives. But I also like that era of like mysteriousness. Not fake mysteriousness, but like true, like, I don't need to show you everything. I'm going to create what I create. But I also feel like the people who have the luxury of doing that are the folks who have already made it and the folks who have legacy. If you're coming out and you're being new, you don't have the luxury of being mysterious.
Right.
And so you have to figure out how to be a content creator and show your personality. And most times that shit does come off as forced because people aren't comfortable with doing that.
Yeah, that's real. Damn, that's real. Because like an example, like you look at like a J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar, that they don't do interviews and they're not really on social media. They just give you the product. But we do already know who they were. They were on the press runs early in their career. But I think like now, going back to like the playing a character, right? And it could just be a maturity thing for me, but like the rap persona is just whack to me.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of tell when somebody's trying to like be a rapper. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I got to look a certain way. I got to act a certain way. And like, you know, maybe like 2000 up to 2015, maybe that was a thing. Like, oh, I gotta pop bottles. I gotta do this rapper shit to be a rapper. Whereas now it's just like we gravitate more to the people that are just organic. That energy is so like magnetic.
It's going back. The shit has really taken a full circle. Like we grew up on the artists who were talking about the struggle, not capping, not trying to glorify something that didn't have or didn't even really stand by. And then it went into like the drug dealers turned into the drug users, and we started glorifying drug abuse and like different things like that. And you feel like people popping perkies is cool, or standing on the tables and popping bottles. And I was one of them. I was out there feeling like I had to have a certain image to be respected by other people doing what I'm doing. Right. Realizing I'm not trying to attract other artists and rappers. I want fans. I want people who understand, who have a story, and I can tell my story, and people can resonate with maybe something that I went through. Like now, like my last couple projects, I have people coming up to me like, bro, like that record really made me cry, or like, I didn't know you were adopted, or I didn't know that this happened, like, and I'm this, and like, bro, you saved me. Like, I didn't want to be here, and now I have purpose. That type of shit, bro, I'll take that any day over somebody liking the shoes that I wore. Like, I got the dusty forces on today. I got the clean ones at home, but I brought the dusties.
Yeah. But what happens when you do that, man, when you're just naturally organic like that, is you attract, like, you know, like your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So you attract people that resonate with that. So you don't really fall off, quote unquote, because you're just you. So like when you're carrying this persona and like you said, all right, I got the new Fendi or whatever, and that ain't popping no more. It's like, all right, what are you about to talk about, bro? We don't care no more. Or when your age group ages out of what you're talking about and you're still stuck, which is my gripe with Drake right now, but whatever. Like you're still in this pocket that your core audience has been past. Yeah. But if you just like we're growing with you, you know what I mean? And we see that with a lot of these artists, like especially J. Cole. And it's like, yeah, I like that. Bro was rapping about drinking almond milk and folding clothes. Yeah. I do that too. And
that's like some regular shit, some shit you can actually relate to. Like even Drake said something in that one record with Jack Harlow, and he was like, it's to the point where my bars aren't even relatable. And it's like, they're not,
and
bro.
it's a fact.
You're talking about this and that, and your fans, people who grew up with you, they don't got what you got. They can't relate to that. In fact, you're flexing on your fans, bro. They feel crazy right now.
Yeah, and half the world doesn't have that. So you're only appealing to impressionable minds that
very niche.
That think this is real. You know, like you're these younger cats that's looking up to you like, oh man, success to me is money, cars, clothes, and hoes, and like the culture has moved past that. We're not even saying that success. We're at InvestFest. We're like trying to gain knowledge, and so like these artists, and that's not knocking nobody. You know, make the music you want to make. It's entertainment at the end of the day. But when you're regressing and you're pushing these images and these messages out to people that you know in your heart ain't even the real deal, it's whack, bro.
It is, bro. It is. I know. We kind of coming up on time, but I wanted to ask you how you feel about the Colorado music industry, bro. And like, just, you know, you've been in the scene for a minute. You've seen like a lot of this shit. Yeah, you kind of understand the history of it. Like, how you feel about it, like in the future of it?
I love where we are. I'm not gonna lie. I love where we are, because I have seen a lot of where we came from. There's still little pieces that is the typical stuff. You know what I mean? Somebody drop a list tomorrow, the whole city gonna be up in arms.
Yeah.
But from an industry standpoint, I think we're starting to get it. And I think it's because a lot of the people that are in a space to provide resources and you know, power and connect in the city right now, we're at that age where we understand and we're mature enough as humans and just as men and women to know business and to know how to move properly. Whereas before it was just like artists, rap, producers, promoters were all just running around trying to figure shit out.
Not knowing
like
what
you
to
got
do.
your little pocket of gatekeepers over here that kind of got shit on lock and you got to go through them, or you feel like you have to, but now we know that you didn't have to.
Yeah.
And then you got your artists over here that, oh man, y'all don't rock with me, trying to appeal to other artists versus trying to find a fan base. And we starting to get it now. And we're starting to move from an aspect of, yo, do you got your paperwork right? Yo, like blah, 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 blah. And then the music comes after.
Yep.
So it's an actual industry.
Yep.
And I'm seeing it firsthand, man. I don't care what nobody tells y'all. Like, I'm seeing it. We get it. I'm watching you do it. Like, I'm watching a lot of people put little pieces together. And then what we do is we grab our piece and say, okay, I think I got this part figured out, bro. What you doing over there? Boom, 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 boom. And then, like, you know, I get with a pape at Welcome to It. I'm like, yo, we need a platform to express these things.
Yeah.
So it's all coming full circle. And then just I focus on the positive, man. So like anybody that says it's not, it's probably because they're not tapped into what's really happening.
Yeah.
Put them on, man. Don't be on no hater shit. Just like, nah, bro, it really is. You might need to rock with this network.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And sometimes even the folks, like some of the artists who may not have gotten the look that they see some other people getting, and they kind of feel like this should be me. And I know that that's the case sometimes because I used to have that. I used to look at people and be like, damn, like, am I not doing enough? And the answer was, yes, bro, you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
You need to figure out how to find your own wave, your own path. This person's blueprint isn't your blueprint. So to covet what someone else has had, not knowing what they've been through or what they had to do to get there is bad, and is working backwards, and you almost already lost when you do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. And then the whole working hard enough and, you know, not showing love or not receiving love, like that's something that it just annoys me, man, because I get it. We all feel that way in certain dynamics. I felt like the underdog in my lane for so long because of who I was comparing myself to.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't really looking towards other locals or nothing like that because I'm kind of anomaly in the city when it comes to certain things I was doing. But I did have big homies and I did have like aspirations in the actual industry to be like, man, how the hell I ain't Charlemagne yet? Or you know what I mean? So I'm looking like that.
Yeah.
But then it's internally like, damn, why ain't I doing what Charlemagne is doing yet? And then you start to realize to do those things, you don't need validation from nobody. You just got to do it. You know what I mean?
And it's different paths too. Like
Yeah.
Charlemagne and them have been comfortable working at for a corporation for a minute up under somebody. They're not. I'm not taking nothing away from Charlemagne because Charlemagne is super dope.
And it's just an example, but yeah.
But it's just an example. But it's different because he's working for a corporation. He's comfortable. He's getting paid a salary to do a job, right? Versus somebody like yourself who is like an entrepreneur in every sense of the word, and you're creating your own platforms. You're doing your own thing. You're being innovative in your own way, and there's not as much of a security blanket, bro. I can promise you that if you went and wanted to be a Charlemagne, you could go be a Charlemagne and work under somebody. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like what you've shown the city and like what you've shown yourself is that you could do so much more than that.
Right.
And you're not gonna you haven't let anybody box you in, which is what I like appreciate. I feel like I'll never know what you're on to next.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Because I don't, bro.
What's
like,
the next thing?
But because I don't, honestly.
But you're not comfortable.
I'm not comfortable, and that's the thing. I have plans, I have visions, I have things that mapped out from years ago when I first started doing anything I do, right? And I don't feel like I've hit the level of where I want to be or need to be with any of those yet. And that's what I mean about, to bring that back full circle, like that's what I mean about perspectives and validation from other people. You know, I get, and again, please do not take this the wrong way, but I get like awards and recognitions and like people show love. So I've never been a people don't fuck with me type dude because I embrace the love that I'm shown. But that was also never my agenda. Like that comes with it, and that's love, and I appreciate that. I truly do. But you know, for some people, that's it. That's the peak.
They put it in their bio.
Like, yo, I became the best in the city. I'm the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, you have to understand that comes along the road that I'm really trying to get to for real.
Yep.
And I have not got to that yet.
Yep.
And so I got to keep pushing. And so when people are like, yo, people in the city ain't embracing me, or, you know, this person over here ain't rocking with, because it happens to me. I ain't been on Graffiti's podcast yet. I must not be. It's like, bro, if you think that's the bar for success, like you ain't way too low, my G.
Yeah.
Because I'm still trying to reach my own bar. You know what I mean?
Shit's nuts, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like the scene to me is dope, bro. I feel like it's beautiful, and it's like we're in such abundance. We have this opportunity right now. Like there's a huge lane to do like what like Atlanta and like Memphis and like LA and New York and like all these places have done, and it's like introduced the world to what's going on here. And it's not just music, it's film, it's dance, it's art, it's different things, right? That all revolve around each other. And like I think there was like this show on Netflix called like The History of Rap or something like that.
Yep, I watched that too.
And Too Short was talking about how he learned about other people in different cities. And it was through like, you know, like the gang culture, film and TV, music videos, like, you know, like their weed, their women, like, but stuff like that. And like, how do we get better at showcasing what Colorado has to offer? Because in the last episode, I was talking about how Colorado has tried to uphold this image that doesn't exist about Colorado. And it's a melting pot, and Colorado won't talk about the fact that it's a melting pot. It doesn't like position its hip hop scene in a way. It doesn't really talk about some of the stuff that we have going on. The census of how many black people live in Colorado is wrong. Like it's like the numbers are like way higher than they state that they are.
Yeah.
But they don't want people to know that there's so many niggas here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's weird.
Yeah. You know what my theory to that is, man? And it's interesting because, again, as someone that has dreams and aspirations beyond just local, I will never not localizing your content, localizing your sound, localizing, you know, your demographic, because why not, right? So we look at New York and LA as the big dogs, Atlanta as well. And I'll dial in specifically on LA. We know LA because LA stands on who they are as LA. Yeah. They don't give a fuck if the rest of the world cares about LA,
to
bro.
them, there's not a rest of the world outside of LA.
And that's what I'm getting at, right? So they don't care. Like, this is LA. We know our lingo. We rock with each other. This is our vibe. Y'all can come if y'all cool. Like, I mean, like, if you like it, cool. Embrace it. But we're not doing this to gain acceptance outside of LA. And I think for years, Colorado, musically specifically, was lost in this bubble of trying to sound like LA or trying to sound like these certain areas because we felt like we needed to be embraced by those areas. Yeah. And it's the same way with entertainment culture, club culture. It's like, bro, we're not Texas. We're not these cities where people be like, yo, over here, they doing. We're Denver. We have our own vibe. We have, especially now, in what I like to call New Black Denver, like we have a culture that we are building. You look at Vibes in the Park and Munchies and R&B Jam Fest, and like we have these little pockets of culture that is inexplainable because it's Denver culture. And we're like, yo, what the fuck is this? Because we've never expressed it the way we're doing it now. Yeah. Keep building on that. And then when other people see that, which they are, they're like, yo, what's going on in Denver? That's crazy. And I see that firsthand. People come here all the time like, yo, I had no idea y'all was on this over here.
Yo, crazy. I have this a very ambitious idea about bringing in all these people together. Like, how do you bring together like black people from different sides of the city? Because I feel like people think black people are a monolith. Yeah. And we're not. Like, we do all types of shit. We have all types of interests, but we have a common, I think community is like the common denominator between us all. And so, like, how do we bring together like a Vibes in the Park at Munchies Mimosas and like, you know, my constituency and some other constituencies, your constituency, into one fly ass event? You know what I'm saying?
I've had that. We got to talk because I've had that exact same. I even outlined it. I have that exact same idea. However, I feel like the only way to make that happen is it gets tricky because I really hate the gatekeeper word, but in a sense, gatekeeping is not always a bad thing because you kind of have to have those staple pillars of each of these pockets.
Yep.
You feel me? So like when you mention a certain culture, because there's various cultures in Denver, there's always the go-to names in that pocket, right? Especially in our Black community.
Yep.
So like I'm in various circles, so I'm able to do that. It's one of the reasons I started to connect, because I'm like, damn, I'm having conversations with this person that has no idea this person exists.
Yeah.
They crossover. So what I'm saying is like, if it's an arts and culture community, like, and you tap in with a Detour, you tap in with like the Welcome to It's, the Blake Jacksons, with the music culture, you tap into like with you, XYZ, promotions, like we all know who's, you have to kind of get those people
Yep.
to buy into what you're talking about and really build that relationship with them. And what's funny is we already have that.
Yeah.
There's so much crossover, but we never literally sat down and like, yo, let's put this together. You grab your pocket, I grab my pocket, you know, like my man James Coleman and the Ryan Ross and like the urban leadership leagues that I'm in, like that pocket of professionals, like
Yep.
we all on the same mission for community and cultural empowerment. Let's get together and like really show people what we can do. But for us,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Not because we're trying to be embraced by anybody else, but because we know what we got here and we want to stand on that.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think even like people who aren't Black, when they come into our spaces, they're like, what have I been missing my whole life living here?
Yeah.
Like I've been at the blank, for 10 years, never kind of stepping out of my comfort zone. And I feel like sometimes we had that issue too, bro, kind of frequenting the same spots and not getting out of our comfort zone and not getting off of our block or walking down the street and seeing what's up with this new coffee shop or what's up with this new venue or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I truly feel like there's a lot of shit popping in Denver right now that we never walk into.
Oh, yeah. It is, because Denver's a hot spot, man. And something I was big on last year, and I made it a thing now, is just traveling. Like, y'all see, I'll do the hashtag move around, because I just literally I got to see other stuff just to know how to move at home. And so what I'm seeing is when I tell people I'm from Denver, they're looking at us like a gold mine. Like, not even just on the like music and culture, like beyond that, tech, finances, real estate, shit, beer, weed, like other cultures are looking at Colorado like the place to be, which is why we have so many implants and so much gentrification and all that. But you look at a spot like the East Side or Rhino, and there's all these dope spots that are popping up. But we really don't go in them because they ain't ours. Like, and we know what the East Side used to be.
Yeah.
But really, I'll walk in and I'm like, hey, blah, blah, I'm from here. That will spark a whole different conversation.
A whole different conversation.
You know what I mean? And then you bridge that gap, because people, not everyone, but a lot of people have good intentions on what they're trying to do, but we have to embrace it. And then on their side, they have to embrace us. Like, you can't come build, the soul coffee shop and, be all white driven and not have an ounce of soul. Like, incorporate us. That's all we ask. You know what I mean? You came to the city. Let me help you, because we'll be more than willing to help you. But when we're getting pushed out, that's kind of the vibe we get. And that's why a lot of us don't feel comfortable stepping into these new spaces. But once you do that, it'll change your life, man. Because people will be like, man, there ain't never nothing going on in Denver, blah, blah. It's because you go to the same Saturday night club every week.
Every week, and you don't get tired. I noticed that when I was promoting Onyx back in the day. I was promoting every Saturday night, and it got to the point where I was like, as a promoter, I had to keep asking people to come out every single week to the same spot, and people be like, bro, like, I spent a lot of money last week, and I ain't gonna get a section this time, or I'm gonna step out of the club, or I'm gonna stop drinking, or blah blah blah. And for promoters, that gets frustrating, because you're like, I want y'all to keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. I need y'all to come 52 times this year, every single Saturday. And it's like, it's unrealistic, bro. Like, people need to go touch grass, go outside, go to a different spot, go walk down the street, go lead a state, go lead a country.
Yep.
Go see how other cultures are living.
Yep. Expand
and
your
realize
palette.
how good we have it in America.
Yeah, man. And then from an entertainment and promotion standpoint, man, that's what I always dibble and dabble in promotions. Like, I just like events and bringing people together, but I never wanted to be a promoter. But I used to laugh, man, because I would watch all my promoter homies beef, like in that little prime time pocket of when there was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Just
Bro, it was
stuff was just happening, right? I would watch these little beefs and these little tips back and forth about who's popping and why you should come here or don't go there. And like, I had an event every month at Ophelia's sold out every month. You know what I mean? Between that and us doing the R and brunch and like these little things and all the people that was arguing and like doing these things, like y'all would never be at my events. Like it'd be bridal showers and like, you know, somebody's birthday or like a group came from Atlanta and found us on like things to do in Denver or something like that. And I'm just sitting back cracking up because I'm like, y'all really analyze that you should be entertaining Denver. You should be entertaining Colorado as a whole. You should be feeding into what people want out of Colorado versus this little pocket of people that you just want to be at the club every week. Like you would have way more success. You feel me? Like people gravitate to R&B Jam Fest because we like R&B. Like, I don't care who promotes it, bro. I like R&B.
Or who's performing. I'm gonna pop out and see who's doing their thing. And I feel like what was cool too, like towards like the end of my nightclub promotion run, we started doing like these industry nights, but we would like where all of Onyx would go to Dorchester. Or we would go to Temple, and we would, as a club, we might even shut down the club that night to go support a different club. We would go to Vegas and do takeovers, and like our whole entire club would go to Dre's nightclub or something like that. And go get a section, and like show that kind of unity, and then other clubs from different states would come to ours, and you know, Native, and they pop out to us, and we would have this like good community. And I feel like it was really, really rocking before the pandemic hit. But I like that too, like the fact that you could like lean on the density of the city and how that's a good thing. Like it's having one thing where people come to every single week is not the way. You want to entertain, like you said, the entire city. Give people options. People should be able to scroll through a list of options. Like, all right, cool. We know this is popping on Saturdays, but what y'all want to go to this night, tonight? Should we go to the concert and then go over to Ophelia's? Or do y'all want to go over to, you know, Status or whatever it is this night?
And that's a cultural thing too, man. And like, I know we've been past time, but like, that's another conversation, but it's a cultural thing to like follow where the DJs and promoters go. I've noticed that. That's definitely a cultural thing because people will hit me and be like, yo, where you at tonight? And I'll be on some way other shit that nobody ever heard of. But it's because I'll go like on Eventbrite. You know what I mean? And just be like, yo, Taste Denver is doing tacos and tequila tonight. That look fire to me, and pull up. And then there don't be none of us in there because we're not looking at those avenues. Like visit Denver.com and like stuff where it's just there's constantly stuff to do that's actually very fun. You know what I mean?
Do something else outside of the club. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Y'all don't need to keep staring at each other. Go to Punch Bowl Social. Go to a museum. Go do sip and paint.
Something. And that's not knocking, like go to the club too. If that's your vibe, do that too. But those other nights of the week or these other weeks, there's a whole life out there. And what I notice about those events that I mentioned in this, like, I never know who's attached to them. You know what I mean? It's just
faceless, nameless events.
It's just something cool to do. And I just buy my ticket and just go, man. I don't know who the hell put this on. And that's a culture thing where like, oh, we only go to blah, blah, blah's parties and we don't really rock with. And it's like, well, are you going to have fun or are you going to like be clicky? You know what I mean? We got to get out of that.
We definitely do. How do you feel about like the faceless? Like we're just kind of talking about it though, like where I see it more in like accounts. Like a lot of people are making good money running accounts that have no name. It's a nameless, faceless account. They're just selling affiliate stuff off Temu or something like that. And they just doing TikTok shop where they talking about content creation stuff or you know, but like translating that to an event like where you see a like R&B. What's that stuff that event that comes into the city?
R&B only.
R&B only. Like if you don't know who the curators of that is, you don't care. You just know that you love R&B and you're going to hear some of the hottest R&B records this night, and you're going to come and have fun and sing until you can't sing no more with your people. Like how you feel about that versus knowing who did it?
I personally love that. I personally do that. I can't tell y'all which event because then it defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
But I think that's the best way to go because for one, it gives you freedom as a person too to have a little fun. Because if people box you into a certain thing, like sometimes we can't avoid it, right? Like people see your name next to something, they'll just automatically either associate it with a certain crowd, a certain vibe, whatever it might be. But if you just want to do something that's just way out of left field and just see if it works, I think that's the best way to go. And now technology allows it so that you don't have to have a face, bro. You just start an Instagram page or like whatever, like you know what I mean. And that's beyond just content or events. Like
even like a Mile High Minute. If you didn't know who
I was literally about to say that Mile High Minute, Denver Spotlight, Denver Verse.
Yep.
I don't be knowing who these people are. I eventually find out, but it's like I don't know, man. Like, but I seen Denver and I seen what y'all are doing, so I hit a follow button.
Yep.
And that's how it should be.
It's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Even like Friendly Collective with Ego and Christian and them, like
Yep.
it took a minute for them to even like publicly say that this is their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the longest time they were just doing it. Nobody was like,
shouts to them too, man. I'm about to go do their show. Like again, that was one of them things where it popped up and it was aesthetically like, oh shit,
yeah,
this is different. Let me follow y'all. This is fire.
Platforms. We need more and more and more platforms, and other platforms should not get threatened by the existence and inception of new platforms. I think it all helps us. Like when our economy is thriving, we're all thriving.
Exactly, and we don't. So here's the thing with that too. Aside from the negative part of like hating on each other and pushing each other out, we don't always need to collectively work together platform wise.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it just simply does not make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know, we enjoy entertainment. We'll watch Max, Netflix, Hulu. Like these are all different individual platforms. They all play into a bigger picture at the end of the day. But sometimes, you know, like Welcome to It might not make sense collaborating with XYZ Studio because you do the exact same thing, but you're giving a product to the people at the end of the day. And like you said, we need that selection and we need those options, man.
Yep. Especially for artists. They can do a little tour, a little media run. Yeah. Now you got a whole bunch of new platforms.
That's how New York works. Like, you notice, bro, like if you watch podcasts or radio shows, it's the same guests on everything when they hit New York, when they hit LA. When we need that.
Yep, we do.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, bro.
Man.
It was good chopping it
We
up
could
with
do
you,
this
gang.
all day, man.
For real. Man. Tune in, man. Tap in, subscribe, like.
I done had big wins from baby steps. Impatience in the past, be like, damn, we ain't made it yet. Making these moments last is probably my greatest flex. I'm sweeping the competition to clean up my latest mess.